So yeah, thank you for attending the award ceremony here. So this is our third year of hosting this conference and third annual Intelligent Assistance Awards. The idea of this, I mean, in addition to what we do through our case studies at our conference, we heard from Nationwide and hearing tomorrow from Zappo and others, is to really look at the real-world applications of intelligent assistance. Obviously, we're still defining the term and what it means, and then there's a lot of different ways to think about chatbots and bots. But we have grounded our criteria and our general look of the world for intelligent assistance in customer care, self-service, and we use this particular moment to highlight the ones that we think are doing it in an exemplary way. So these are the judges, and you actually go ahead and introduce everyone down the line.
Okay. I'm still Dan Miller, the lead analyst at Opus Research.
I'm John Cifuentes, an analyst in the space and an EIR for some VCs, kind of feeling out some of the opportunities.
I'm Amy Stapleton, an analyst at Opus Research.
And I'm Nicolas de Kouchkovsky.
Great. So we solicited entrants for this. We really want to work as much as we can from both the customer point of view to please send us your intelligent assistant deployments. We want to learn more about those, and obviously we do work with technology providers to showcase what those are doing. The submissions come in, and then we have a very quantitative process in terms of how we look at these within the criteria that we have here. We tend to emphasize business value, ROI, metrics, any kind of data that can prove what the intelligent assistant is doing is providing business value to that organization. And then maybe Dan, you want to go through some of those a little bit more? Yeah.
Well, we didn't specify ROI per se. I just want to point out, because I don't think Esteban has left the room yet, but the idea that the implementation of the intelligent assistant should bring business value, and that had fairly strong weighting. For the purpose of differentiation, we looked across whether the services were available across a multiplicity of channels, because in the early days of, think about chatbots, think about some of the early virtual chat agents. We were looking to something that could eventually be ubiquitous, be talked to over the phone, be reached through the websites and over apps. We love innovation. I mean, you're not... Yeah. So that had its own weighting. The supports established KPIs is closely related to proven business value, but I think we're learning over time that we're redefining metrics for what the efficacy and effectiveness is of an intelligent assistant. But for now, it could be call deflection. It could be there are documented cases where something akin to a capture rate in a customer conversation appears. We love novel customer experience and models for user engagement and persona. Whether it's, even though many, over time we learned that not all enterprises are investing in something that has an avatar per se, or is animated, or supports a brand or whatever. It did weigh into our evaluation of...
Yeah, it becomes a differentiator in terms of what we're looking at. Maybe John or Amy want to talk? I know there's only one mic there, so one at a time. But
sure.
In terms of the criteria that you were looking at, or kind of came out as a kind of a trend that you saw with the
Sure.
assistants that you looked at.
So someone who's seen upwards of, I think I'm over 300 bot pitches now.
Okay.
In the last several months. I was happy to get a few other dozen across my desk. Thank you. But I also just focused on the idea that these things could be augmentative in conversation, didn't cause customers to switch modes too dramatically. And if they did, we like to think of bots as being something that kind of solves a task or gets something done at work. But in some cases, some of these examples were just meant to be engaging. And when we think about instrumenting conversation and making something that resolves a task quickly, kind of flies in and flies out at the right time, that didn't necessarily apply to all of the submissions, so it was kind of interesting. I thought the balanced approach was nice, and it was having 4 analysts on a call was fun, discussing criteria. But yeah, I mean, I'm anxious to see the winners and how they played out.
Well, a little more on if you want to talk about the criteria, Amy or Nicolas, but just in terms of the entries, and we did receive over a dozen across multiple verticals: banking, financial services, entertainment, government, health, fitness, politics, even so we saw different applications of the intelligent assistants. What were, Nicolas, and before I get to the winners, Nicolas and Amy, what were some of the capabilities that you thought were impressive? And then this, we point out here, business value, corporate knowledge for data sources, and then that kind of an engaging personality across channels. So what were the things that you wanted to highlight? Nicolas, go ahead.
I'm super sensitive to the business impact. Maybe that's my profile, and the results continue to be very impressive. And some projects are able to scale it. That's also very impressive. The second thing I pay a lot of attention to is the breadth of the type of solution provided. If I want to contrast this year versus last year, I would say positive news, almost all the submission had a very decent mobile experience. Last year, you basically had desktop type of web experience on the mobile footprint. It was not very nice. A lot of the submission were text-only assistant. And I find it a little bit bizarre. I know these days a lot of excitement about messaging type of interaction, but I still believe that it needs to be omni-channel. So a little bit of a disappointment. And I found the personas on this cohort were a little less developed than they used to be. And I think as well it's a missed opportunity.
Well, I guess I would just say, at these ceremonies, I feel kind of apologetic because there are so many good solutions that we got, and it's really difficult to, to judge them against one another. But the way I do it to try to be objective is to really stick to the criteria. And so in this particular instance, we actually had a discussion: do we want to weight some of the criteria more than some of the others? So in other words, do we want to give a higher weighting to business value as opposed to whether there's a persona or not? But we just decided to leave it level, and I think that enabled some solutions to bubble up to the top. But that doesn't mean that the other solutions aren't necessarily just as good and may be providing that corporation, that brand, exactly the type of assistance their customers need. So that's that's what you get when when you try to compare things together. But we use that set of criteria.
Yeah, we were definitely consistent to ourselves, and I think, and more importantly, it was exactly that. It was a challenge. There was a number of that were all right there. So we definitely appreciate everyone's involvement and submissions, and really highly encourage it for years on end. So with that, drum roll, please. I'm just going to all three. There's no particular order that we've decided. The winners for this year include USAA, MONI, which is provided by AgentBot, and Identifor, which has a technology partner in True Image. So I think, and I'll highlight the kind of things that why we picked these winners, and if you guys want to elaborate, that'd be great. But USAA obviously has a strong brand, a great member loyalty, and they have more than 1 million interactions with their virtual agent, which obviously gives them this ROI. It gives them a business case that's there in terms of containment and engagement, and then they can scale with that. MONI, we also, and to Amy's point, personality and persona really did kind of come out in that. It was multi-channel. Identifor had a very unique UI in terms of the avatar they use, and there's a technology behind it. I think it's pretty curious about that. And a target audience, this is for kids with autism and parents, and they use kind of a gamification model in terms of that engagement with an intelligent assistant. So those are kind of the highlights, but anything else that you guys want to add as far as what you thought came out?
I think you did
Dan?
a great job.
No. I'm a bit torn because I want to congratulate the winners, but at the same time, like Amy said, it was tough.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of discussion back and forth. There were the breadth of use cases that we had were pretty impressive, and you highlight some of those. They are very different.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the truth. The point is that really we definitely want to see the different applications that are out there. We want to see the different use cases. And really, this criteria that we're using for this year, we did emphasize a little more on personality and persona, but I think business value is clearly a multi-channel. Some of the things we talked about this morning about data and the ability to answer across channels, that's going to be something we look forward to in the future in terms of engaging with intelligent assistants. So we'll follow up afterwards with the winners. So we're not going to actually have any ceremony up here right now, but so I want to congratulate them. So.